facts to take me out. Fairy tale.
But I love when artists grit they.
His performance of Not Like Us to over 120 million viewers was framed as a powerful artistic flex, but behind the curtain, it looked more like UMG's corporate victory dance after a masterclass in media manipulation. This beef wasn't just rap. It became an international chess match. With rising tensions in Toronto, Kendrick's tour schedule looming, and global accusations of streaming manipulation, it's clear decisions made in sleek boardrooms are now fueling real-life security threats across borders. Veterans like Tony Yo have seen enough to call it what it is: dangerous escalation. Yeah, top 5, then the street came down hard on Drake. It got real over there, no doubt. But them dudes talking like they're ready for anything? That's next level. The scary part? This beef may have started in the booth, but it's ended up pulling in street-level players into what's supposed to be a business rivalry, a terrifying blend of corporate warfare and real-world danger. Drake's lawsuit isn't just petty retaliation. It could rewrite the rules of the industry. If the courts decide that labels can be held liable for rigging streaming numbers or faking fan sentiment, it'll be a nuclear bomb dropped on the music business. The old ways, manipulating charts, boosting artists artificially, controlling narratives behind closed doors, would be dead on arrival. No wonder UMG is aggressively denying everything. They know exactly what's at stake. If Drake's accusations stick, it would uncover a deep, industry-wide rot and open the door for other artists and rivalries to be reinvestigated. We're talking about lawsuits, leaks, and scandals that could expose the ugly machine running the culture from behind the scenes. This isn't just artist versus artist. It's psychological warfare, and the fans are the soldiers. Millions have been baited into picking sides in what might be a manufactured, boardroom-approved narrative. They've been tricked into pouring passion into a feud built on likes, streams, and fake emotion. They're fighting battles designed by algorithms, not hearts. Kendrick's recent reflection on his role as an artist gave us a glimpse into his mindset. Early on, I didn't fully understand my role. Maybe I had clues. But now I know it's about expressing what others feel but can't say, to connect through that vulnerable truth. But here's the twist. If that truth is being boosted and redirected by corporate agendas, is it still real? Or just another piece of performance art engineered for maximum clickbait? And then there's the tech side. We're in a new era where bot networks, social media manipulation, and AI-powered engagement can make fake cultural movements look real. These aren't just fan-driven trends anymore. They're strategic marketing weapons designed to move the masses. Let's talk about that alleged crying phone call. Whether it happened or not, it's symbolic. If Kendrick really broke down to Lucian Grange, it shows the devastating toll on artists caught in corporate wars. But if the call was a planted rumor, it proves how vulnerability itself can be weaponized, used as a chess piece in billion-dollar PR games. Drake's lawsuit is still alive, and that means sooner or later, the courtroom might give us the truth. Because unlike social media, courts demand receipts, real evidence, sworn testimony, paper trails. We might finally see how deep this rabbit hole goes. And what's exposed could forever change how we see our favorite artists and labels. Whether or not Drake and Kendrick actually had a phone call involving Lucian Grange doesn't even matter anymore. The fact that people believe it shows the emotional destruction caused when artists are turned into commodities. When billion-dollar companies treat human beings like content machines, this is what we get. So the real question isn't, what happened between Drake and Kendrick? It's what did this entire war expose about the music industry's soul in the digital age? Are artists, fans, and even culture itself being played, while execs profit and creators bleed for the clicks? Even lyrics from Drake's recent track, Fighting Irish Freestyle, released January 3rd, 2025, hinted at betrayal and referenced the brewing feud, but stopped short of naming the alleged phone call between Kendrick and Grange. What's wild is how this rumored call fits into a larger pattern of finger-pointing and shady accusations that have fueled this war. Let's not forget Kanye West's comments that resurfaced in November 2024, where he blasted Grange as Drake's rich baby daddy, a diss layered in industry shade. Then there's that viral Daily Mail post from February 13th, 2025, claiming Drake dragged Sophia Richie, Grange's daughter-in-law, into the mix. But let's not kid ourselves, this beef has blasted way past the studio. Hip-hop used to be about real bars and face-to-face confrontations, not running to label execs when your name gets scorched on a track. If Kendrick actually did reach out to Grange, like Drake's claiming, that could blow a hole straight through his credibility. His core fanbase holds authenticity sacred, and crying to corporate suits isn't part of that code. And while that mess alone is headline-worthy, there's a darker underbelly to this story. Because this feud isn't just music anymore, it's become dangerous, spilling out into threats, violence, and real-world chaos. What started as lyrical warfare is now turning into something far more dangerous: the escalating violence and real-world consequences. The most chilling moment came on May 7, 2024, just 3 days after Kendrick dropped Not Like Us. Shots rang out in a drive-by shooting outside Drake's Toronto mansion, leaving one of his security guards critically wounded. And the timing? Not a coincidence. This went down at the height of the feud, when Not Like Us had taken over the culture and tensions were burning hot. Drake's lawsuit laid out the whole horrifying sequence. Legal filings say armed men rolled up to his Bridle Path mansion in the dead of night, yelling threats before opening fire. Bullets hit his front door, and one tore into a security guard, a man described as more than just protection. He was Drake's friend. With no ambulance in sight, the crew wrapped him in towels, trying to stop the bleeding for nearly 30 agonizing minutes. And get this, the May 7th shooting wasn't the end. More security breaches followed on May 8th and 9th, creating a chilling pattern of coordinated violence against Drake. The May 8th incident involved an intruder who dug under the security fence, slithered his way in, and began screaming racial slurs and death threats before security finally tackled him. This wasn't random madness. Drake's lawsuit connects all of these attacks directly to the feud. His legal team says the Not Like Us rollout, lyrics, cover art, the whole aggressive campaign, made him a target for violence.
Why?
Because the cover literally used a satellite photo of Drake's home. And the bars? They weren't just petty insults. They were nuclear accusations. The track straight up accused Drake of pedophilia with lines like, "Say Drake, I hear you like them young. You better not ever go to cell block 1." Drake's lawyers argued that these weren't battle bars. They were calls for street justice, thinly disguised as music. The situation became even more volatile when Drake's associates began making their own threats. Enter Top 5, a Toronto rapper with known ties to Drake and a track record steeped in controversy. His real name? Hassan Ali, a name familiar to courtrooms after he beat a first-degree murder case tied to a 2021 college student shooting, cementing his rep as a man who's seen real violence. Top 5's threats toward Kendrick? Disturbing, explicit, unfiltered, all caught on Instagram lives, shady podcasts, and recorded interviews. He wasn't making metaphors, he was dropping real warnings, and the internet caught every single word.
He said that Drake, paid for his lawyer and helped him get off and everything else like that. He did an interview and he basically threatened to shoot Kendrick if he comes to Toronto.
The
The threats went far beyond vague intimidation. Top 5 used language that was chillingly specific, saying he would turn Kendrick into Swiss cheese, a street-coded way of describing a brutal, multi-shot attack. He even painted out disturbing drive-by scenarios and bragged about doing homework on Kendrick and his team, a phrase that cops interpret as active surveillance and planning. Industry veterans like Tony Yo didn't take it lightly. They recognized this was no longer just talk.
Do you think Drake could come to LA and do a big show right now?
All I'm saying to you is I think it shouldn't go there,
This wasn't just about keeping one artist safe. This was about preventing another deadly hip-hop meltdown, the kind we saw in the infamous East Coast versus West Coast War of the 90s, the same war that claimed the lives of Tupac Shakur and the notorious B.I.G. The stakes were becoming dangerously real, and even WAC 100 was sounding the alarm.
real stakes involved.
Dude is nobody. Come on, we watched this same dude get mushed in the face and kicked in. Oh, I was only 19.
But WAC 100 also pointed out the irony.
Interview 7:47/7:54. But WAC 100 wasn't done. He also called out the irony behind Top 5's online gangster image, pointing to viral videos where he got manhandled in past altercations. The drama didn't stop there. Kendrick's side came back swinging. His associates like Hit J3 and Smack didn't hesitate to clap back with their own threats. And just like that, we had a deadly echo chamber. Words turned into warnings, warnings into war cries. It was the perfect storm, and it kept building. The cycle of threats made one thing clear. This beef was teetering on the edge of real-world bloodshed. And then came the fallout. On January 24th, 2025, Top 5 was arrested in Toronto, slapped with multiple gun charges, careless storage, unauthorized possession, and illegal ammo. The timing? Suspect. His arrest came hot on the heels of his public threats against Kendrick, hinting this was no coincidence. The law was watching. The rap world took notice. And Rick Ross, he didn't hold back.
I feel like for you, the sport of the rap has finally kind of been, because you obviously jumped into the arena with the Kendrick Drake that happened. Do you feel like the sport has been like reignited with what has been going on the last year or so?
Ross emphasized.
Ross kept it real, saying, yes, beef keeps hip-hop alive. But this wasn't lyrical sport anymore. This was dangerously close to crossing a line no one could walk back from. The tension wasn't just national, it was international now. The moment that proved it? When Kendrick and SZA announced their joint tour, with a show scheduled in Toronto, right in the Lion's Den, set for June 12th at the Rogers Centre. It felt like a direct dare, a power move against every threat made against him. And the industry? They noticed. Everyone did.
Well, that's Drake's hometown. How do you think this is going to go down?
Well, it's obvious. At least we can say, well, at least Drake ain't in control of Toronto because he ain't stopped.
The fact that Kendrick still chose to perform in Drake City, despite full-blown threats to safety, was seen as either an act of bold bravery or reckless defiance. The buzz around whether he'd actually perform Not Like Us in Toronto turned the atmosphere electric and dangerously tense.
Dang it.
I mean, what's going to happen when Kendrick performs Not Like Us in Toronto? Because he's going to have to perform. There's no way he could do that show without performing that song.
The psychological warfare.
This feud wasn't just music anymore. It had turned into full-blown psychological warfare. Both camps were using threats and real-life security incidents like chess pieces in a power struggle that started on wax. But now, the lines between entertainment and real danger were vanishing. 50 Cent's take cut through the noise. He said, like in Drake's case, because of the success, he's feeling the backlash of his success. Everything that he said he did, they did. And I lost, they did it. Coming from someone who's had his own legendary rap beefs, 50 recognized the script. When you rise, enemies follow, and rap beef can pull real heat from the streets. The corporate response to these escalating threats and actual violence was telling. Universal Music Group found itself in an awkward, unprecedented position. On one side, they had Drake, an artist being actively targeted. On the other, Kendrick, an artist accused of provoking that violence through his art. UMG's denial of Drake's claims wasn't just about keeping the business clean. It became a public stance, a declaration that they didn't ignite a fire that ended in real-world injuries, arrests, and gunfire. And the timeline? It told its own story. The shooting at Drake's mansion happened right as Not Like Us hit its viral peak. Then came Top 5's disturbing threats. And later, his arrest, after his violent rhetoric had been broadcast all over the internet. Each event added fuel to the next. One beat, one bar, one bullet at a time. What made this situation particularly dangerous was how it combined the reach of modern social media with traditional street dynamics. What used to stay in the streets was now being broadcast globally. Every threat, insult, and challenge streaming in 4K to millions of fans. And in this world, talking reckless online can force people to act out in real life just to keep up appearances. And the international factor made it even more complex. Canada and the US don't play by the same legal or cultural rules. They have different systems, different enforcement styles, and totally different ways of handling celebrity conflict. This cross-border mess only made it harder to keep things from spiraling further out of control. The power play and industry manipulation. This isn't just a rap battle anymore. It's turning into a legal war zone. Drake's lawsuit against UMG throws jaw-dropping accusations out there. Claims of bot armies, manipulated Spotify metrics, and backdoor payola moves designed to fake the success of Not Like Us. If even part of it's true, then one of the biggest rap moments of this decade wasn't a cultural triumph. It was a corporate takedown in disguise. Drake's team is alleging something huge, that UMG used Kendrick as a weapon, building a digital illusion of fan support while orchestrating an internal attack to cripple Drake's brand and dominate the headlines. And when Kendrick finally sat down for a recent interview, his words gave us a window into the mindset he had while all this chaos was peaking.
You'll watch Smack URL from Murder Move to Lux to Tay-Rock, my bro Daylight. This has always been the core definition of who I am, and it's been that way since day one. So I don't think it was a thing for this year. It was always just a continuum.
But was Kendrick's competitive fire truly his own? Or was it being fueled and amplified by corporate handlers? The release of his most savage tracks seemed to line up almost too perfectly with UMG's alleged marketing blitz, raising serious questions. Were these diss records Kendrick's vision, or part of a calculated corporate rollout? The money behind this beef is massive. Both Drake and Kendrick Lamar are top-tier earners in the global music game, and their streaming success rakes in millions for UMG. So if one side could manipulate public sentiment, even slightly, it could shift millions in profit between artists, or even labels, under the same umbrella. When Not Like Us swept the Grammys, snagging 5 awards including Record and Song of the Year, it looked like Kendrick had won the culture war. But if Drake's allegations about fake streaming and artificial hype hold any truth, it begs a darker question. Were those awards given for authentic art or weaponized marketing? The deeper you dig into the business logic, the clearer it becomes. They making money on both sides, right? This is all business. They're not personalizing the players, just selling records. 50 Cent's breakdown slices through the noise. To the execs, this wasn't two legends going at it. It was a cash cow with diss tracks. A rivalry turned revenue stream. But the cost? That's where it gets horrifying. A drive-by shooting at Drake's mansion, open death threats against Kendrick, an arrested affiliate with gun charges, all byproducts of manufactured chaos. If UMG really did supercharge Not Like Us to hurt Drake, they may have accidentally created a pipeline from digital manipulation to real violence. Even the cover art of Not Like Us made it personal, featuring a satellite view of Drake's home, basically putting a target on the map. That wasn't coincidence. That was intentional, pairing geolocation with violent lyrics, leaving no room for misinterpretation. Yet amid all this, Drake still tried to cling to a normal life. Interviews reveal a man juggling global fame with fatherhood.
Actual normal day. Like I'm talking not like you wake up. Like give me like a rundown. You just woke up. What's up?
Okay. Well, I mean, if it's Monday to Thursday, I'm waking up and I'm doing whatever Adonis wants to do.
The contrast between Drake's attempt to maintain a normal family life and the security threats he...
Navigating firestorms while trying to protect his peace. Interview 15:18/1536. The contrast couldn't be more gut-wrenching. Drake trying to maintain normalcy, raising his kid, while living under the threat of real bullets and digital warfare. It's what makes that rumored crying phone call from Kendrick to Lucian Grange hit different. If the call was real, maybe Kendrick finally realized he was being used, a pawn in a label's playbook. Maybe he called for answers. Maybe he broke down, tired of being the front line in a fight engineered in a boardroom. But if the call never happened, then its sudden appearance, a year after the peak of the beef. Maybe Drake's power move, spinning the story to imply that Kendrick's dominance was actually desperation behind closed doors. The moment the rumor dropped, Drake was neck-deep in litigation with UMG. And Kendrick? He was headlining the Super Bowl, the ultimate symbol of industry approval. Interview 16:23/16:39. That Super Bowl performance of Not Like Us, seen by 120 million people, was packaged as an artistic mic drop, but many saw it as UMG's final flex, a corporate chest pound for a manipulation well played. The ripple effects? Global. Toronto's rising threat level Kendrick's world tour dates, and the international reach of streaming warfare all show how label execs sitting in suits can trigger security crises in cities they've never visited.
Validation. It's my favorite. It's very hard for me to live in the past. Very hard. I respect the past wholeheartedly, but being in the now and being just locked into how I feel and the energy I have now, that's
People like Tony Yo saw the writing on the wall. So, yeah, Top 5 and the street put pressure on Drake. It got real. But dudes talking like they ready to act. That's no joke. Street associates got sucked into what was supposed to be a rap beef, not realizing they were part of a corporate strategy dressed as hip-hop warfare. The blend of business and street turned toxic, fast. And now, thanks to Drake's lawsuit, the courts are being asked to decide whether labels should be held liable for manipulating not just the charts, but public perception and even violent outcomes. If judges agree, that would force a level of transparency this industry has never seen. UMG's loud and aggressive denials aren't just about brand damage, they're fighting for survival. Because if any of this gets proven in court, the floodgates could burst, and every dirty promo strategy and rivalry from the past decade could be investigated. But this war wasn't just fought in court or the charts, it was fought in our minds. The final level of manipulation? The fans themselves. Fans have been manipulated into taking sides in what may have been a manufactured conflict, pouring their energy, loyalty, and emotions into a battle that could have been scripted by algorithms, not by the artists themselves. They went to war over a feud that might have never been real, just another digital illusion sold as authenticity. Kendrick's own reflection on his evolution as an artist adds a strange layer to all of this. I don't think I knew what my role was early on. Maybe I had hints. But now? I know it's to express what others can't, to speak from a raw, vulnerable place people can truly feel. That's a powerful mission. But if that expression was engineered, boosted, and marketed by corporate machinery, then how authentic was that connection really? Were fans moved by Kendrick, or by an algorithm amplifying what sold best? And that's the terrifying new frontier. Technology now enables this level of manipulation. Bot farms, algorithmic targeting, and coordinated influencer campaigns can make manufactured hype feel like cultural momentum, while secretly serving label agendas. That alleged crying phone call? Whether it happened or not, it symbolizes something deeper, the emotional damage artists take when they're used as tools in corporate warfare. If Kendrick did break down and call Lucian Grange, maybe it was the moment he realized he wasn't in control, that he'd become just another pawn on the board. And if that call never happened, then it's even more chilling, because it means raw human emotion is now being faked, planted, and exploited to twist narratives and win legal battles. Drake's lawsuit might be our only shot at the truth. Unlike Twitter and IG Lives, courtrooms demand receipts, hard evidence, cross-examinations, sworn testimony. This could finally pull the curtain back and show us how much of the music game has been manipulated all along. As this saga keeps evolving, one thing is clear. This isn't just a beef between two megastars. It's a case study in how corporate power hijacks creativity, how digital illusions fool millions, and how fans become casualties in rivalries designed in boardrooms, not bars. Whether Drake and Kendrick's call with Lucian Grange was real or just a myth doesn't even matter anymore. The fact that it feels believable shows how deeply we've accepted the idea that artists are being used like chess pieces in billion-dollar games. So the real question isn't, did Kendrick call Grange? It's, what does this entire mess tell us about the industry that profits from the conflict, while artists bleed in real life? And are we, the fans, unknowingly helping them do it? If you felt the weight of this video, click the card on your screen and check out more deep dives just like this one. This story, it's just the beginning.